a month ago or so in the day list, there was a freeze that the public service is not hiring anymore. What are you trying to tell young people? Yet you say each and every day you want to ensure that we give jobs to these young people who go to school but don't have jobs out here. People are, forced to do things that they shouldn't be doing and they went through the education system. If I can get a response to those two issues, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you.
Grayson,
do I answer those, or I thought we said we take 3 people? Can we take maybe Eddie? Eddie was somewhere. There is a lady called Eddie was somewhere or something.
Edith Kimani.
Otero, from my end, I see she's a listener. Maybe you can add her to speak from what I'm able to see on my end.
Okay.
As we wait for the engagement, can I proceed and answer?
Yes, please.
Thank you very much. Alai has mentioned 3 things. Mr. Alai, I want to tell you, Mheshimiwa, that I am acutely clear that even if I don't succeed, I want Kenya to succeed. The one thing that I am very clear about is what do we do to change the status of many Kenyans? Intern doctors. There was a long conversation with intern doctors. I made sure that they were attended to. I met the leadership of the intern doctors myself, finally, and we did make an agreement on how to sort out the intern doctor situation, including I have factored in this budget with their concurrence. When I agreed with them, that we were supposed to sort out their arrears in 3 years. I offered to sort them out in 1 year after I engaged with them, and the money is in the budget. As I talk to you, I have even today decided that even with a cut of the finance bill, I will still make sure that they are sorted out. The issue of pending bills. My good brother, we have pending bills in the region of 650 billion. It is the reason why I appointed Mr. Ouko, our former Auditor General, to interrogate all the pending bills for purposes of making sure that we can pay them. In fact, one of the items that I listed this afternoon, which was also in the budget, is a provision for us to begin the journey to sort out pending bills, because it is crippling businesses of people, it is destroying enterprises of Kenyans because government is not paying. The third thing that you have said about Linda Mama or Linda Jamii and Eduafia, I have done 3 things. Maybe the explanation. Let me give you the explanation. On Linda Mama. Am I audible?
Yes, you are, Mr. President. Sorry about that.
What we are doing is, under our universal health coverage, I promise the people of Kenya that we need to ensure that we don't leave other Kenyans behind. Under our universal health coverage, in which this year we now have a budget for it, we are going to scale up the benefits of Linda Mama. That is why we have brought it, we have scaled it up into universal health coverage. We want it to reach more Kenyans. That's number 1. Number 2, we want to enhance the benefits. The benefits were 2,500 for women giving birth in hospital, in smaller hospitals, 5,000 and maximum of 17,000. We have now changed that. From 2,500, we have moved the benefit to 11,000. And we have moved the upper benefit to 32,000. That is not a derogation. That is an upgrading of Linda Mama. Number two, Edu Afia. What we are doing with Edu Afia is that we are universalizing. The universal health is universalizing insurance so that every Kenyan, and I made this absolutely clear, and that is why we have changed the law so that not just the students who are in school, but every Kenyan, even those who are not in school, will now be beneficiaries of our chief social health. We, instead of having NHIF, we are now going to have that universal health is available to many Kenyans. Finally, on Nairobi, on source of revenue. I thought I heard the governor say the other day that he had increased it, he had raised more revenue than was ever raised. I'm not sure about that. But I want to tell you that that is a Nairobi County affair. You, Mr. Alai.
What are you telling us? When are you going to be
should not be asking
for everything
me.
that you actually
the
complaining
public
about?
should be asking
What
you.
are you talking about
Because
as a leader of
you
a
are the person.
Because the first thing that
you are the person
to
responsible. You are the representative of the people. You should answer that question. You should be the one to interrogate the county government. It is your responsibility of oversight. It is your responsibility of representation. It is your responsibility of legislation. You should legislate how the county resources are raised. You should oversight the county government to collect it. I just want you to take up your job and do it. Let me, Gray Marwa has asked me two very important questions. Marwa, these are very important questions about corruption. Let me say the following, just three things first. Number one, I said before that corruption must be dealt with firmly and decisively. And that is why my act number one in office, the two acts that I did in office when I came into office was number one, to make sure that I give financial autonomy to the police so that they can pursue corruption to the extent possible, and that they don't have to come back to me, and nobody in my office will control the police in as to who they want to prosecute. That's number one. And I signed, and the budget of the police is run by the IG at the moment, and they are free to go after everybody. That's number one. Number two, I made sure that the judges that had been denied the opportunity to serve and to empower our judiciary, I signed them, and I made sure that they have been gazetted and they went to work. I did not stop there. I have enhanced the budget of the judiciary from 18 billion to this year. I wanted to be at 25 billion. Unfortunately, it may come down because of the finance bill by about $1 billion or so. Number three, I am the president who has sworn in the highest number of judges in 2 years in the history of Kenya. I have sworn in maybe 46, almost 50 judges, because I have agreed with the judiciary that justice delayed is justice denied. And therefore, I want to make sure that becomes the case. Number four, on the specific incident of what happened with fertilizer, I want to tell you, as I tell the people of Kenya, those where evidence has been gathered, sufficient evidence has been gathered, they are in court. The CEO, the general manager, and 7 other staff of the National Cereals and Produce Board are already in court. The minister was taken to parliament to answer for political responsibility, that to make sure that his oversight role was in question. I want to tell you this, Gray, that we are a country of the rule of law. When a person has been, when allegations are made against a person and they are not verified, there is no way that such person can be held to account. But when they are verified, like the case of the officers who worked under the minister that were verified, they are in court. I want to tell you, if a minister, if a principal secretary, if there are verified allegations of corruption against any cabinet minister and or any principal secretary, the day they are taken to court, I will fire them. I will not wait for the court process because there will be an element of confirmation that these are people who are corrupt. Let me talk about jobs. And you have said correctly that the public service has issued a circular that there will be, there is a freeze on jobs. The public service has a freeze on jobs at different levels. People who are employed at entry level and the space around jobs is huge. Government can only hire a very small fraction. My intention, my plan is to make sure that government facilitates the economy, facilitates the private sector, facilitates the entire enterprise space to create more jobs. It is the reason why I made a deliberate commitment to the people of Kenya when I went for the elections, and I said I will focus on creating jobs. And if you want me to explain to you the areas where I am focused on creating jobs, I will. If you want me to tell you how many jobs I have created in the 2 years that I have been in office, I will tell you, from housing, from digital jobs, from going to manufacturing, all the way to export of labor. I will tell you how many jobs I have created, and I have every intention to make sure that as many Kenyans as possible have an opportunity to have an income so that they can contribute meaningfully to the development of our country. Thank you.
You can speak.
Thank you very much for this chance to maybe ask some few questions to the president. I'll be very brief. I only have 3 questions to make. One, Mr. President, is that like most of the people have said, is that your government is full of lies. Because of one, I want to put it clear that when Finance Bill 2023 was passed, we believe that the revenue that was going to be collected during that period were going to be used for development. Personally, I come from Masab constituency. And on February of last year, the CS for Transport, Bonamur Komen, came to Kabiet Shrines and promised us that there is a road down there that's going to, down from Kurgung to Chepterway, coming down to Kapkatembu. He said personally that since that this is a road that was left midway by the contractor, he was going to send the contractor in a record 3 months to case against the said minister. You're going to fire him. There's a case that has been filed by the Law Society of Kenya against the Minister of Agriculture. If kindly we can tell the minister to step aside so that trying to investigate someone who is in office becomes very hard. So let the minister step aside so that we can continue with the investigation. Number 3, I would want to talk about the arrogance. The arrogance that is in your government. I have heard Mr. President say that the issue of Finance Bill 2024 was, I think it was packaged in a way that maybe you should have done it better. Yes, you should have done it better. The reason being, the people you sent out there, since like the MP for Molo, on the issue of the motor vehicle levy, at some point in the TV, he told people that, if you cannot be able to pay that, just leave your vehicle at home. That is the arrogance that was being displayed. The leader of majority in parliament, Kimani Ichung'wah, even went out on a podium, said that, these are the Genzs, they come with the phones, they go to KFC, they go, and then they come with an Uber. That is the arrogance that fueled all this anger that you're seeing in people. And then lastly, on the issue of, I come from, generally this region of Wasingishu and maybe Nandi and Wasingishu, there was an issue of the Finland scam that happened. There's a case in court. Parents paid for the money. The case is dragging in court. So actually, what you saw in Elred, I think it's more of, it wasn't even more finance bill. It's the anger that has been building up. It's been building up. So people were really angry because they've paid, people sold their land. The issues are still there. Nobody's talking about. We have a case that is in court. It can drag to 5 years. So what happens to the money that is been lost, that someone was going to go to school tomorrow, or by next year maybe they would have graduated. So I think those are the issues that I have. I want you to address in regards to the areas that I have mentioned. Thank you.
Wakili Saruni can speak.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for this opportunity to address you, and thank you very much, the host, Hussein and Osama. My name is Jesse Saruni, or rather Wakili Saruni. I am the president of University Students in Kenya, KUSO. And Your Excellency, I have a few concerns. But first, allow me to give you a background of why, in my opinion, I feel comrades were very disturbed about the finance bill. Your Excellency, if you look at the finance bill 2023-2024, it introduced housing levy at around 3%, which was to be redeemable. However, during public participation, the people, most of the people, including comrades, said that we can start at 1.5%. But without communication, the parliament went ahead and reviewed and made it to be 1.5%, but they removed the clause that allowed people to redeem the savings after they retire. Your Excellency, I would wish to hear from you whether it can be reverted so that this can be redeemable. But as I continue, Your Excellency, I was part of your team during the campaign, and one of the things that we were saying during the campaign, because I actively campaigned using the Kenya Kwanza manifesto, was the 30% of appointments of youth in different positions, and including a youth advisor to the cabinet. However, Your Excellency, currently we have an advisor to the cabinet on women affairs, but we do not have an advisor to the cabinet on youth affairs. I was concerned whether this was deliberately left out, or I was just a little bit concerned with that. Your Excellency, another key concern that affects comrades, around 6,000 graduates went through diploma in law, and this is in regard to career progression. So they did their diploma in law, and they proceeded to do their degree in law. Your Excellency, before 2014, everyone who did their diploma and did their degree in law were able to proceed to the Kenya School of Law for the ATP Advocates Training Program. But the laws were changed in 2014, and this affects around 6,000 university students who are working in law firms and getting underpaid. And I am happy to see that the president of LSK, who is very passionate about issues of youth, is also here. Your Excellency, there is an amendment bill in Parliament that is on the Speaker's desk and has stayed for so long. Your Excellency, this is something that is under the office of the Attorney General. And with the indulgence of the Attorney General, I believe this thing can be, we can find an approach where this thing can be addressed, of course, through the office of the Attorney General, so that these comrades can stop the suffering. They are not able to proceed to self-actualization, because most of them would want to become advocates of the High Court, but they are not able due to that change in the Act of Parliament. Your Excellency, another concern is on students and youth leadership.
Wakili, I really hate to do this, but please, we've only gone through 5 questions. I think there are so many people on attack.
Okay, just one more.
Kindly, we agreed. Yeah, please, kindly.
Okay. Your Excellency, in regards to university students and youth leadership, you can see that we have the National Youth Council, which is constituted. It's supposed to hold elections. And I feel, Your Excellency, the youth feel that they have not been able for a long time to represent their grievances because they are not able to elect their leaders directly. And this goes back even to the University Amendment Act, which introduced the delegate system, which I feel that the universities have found a way to maneuver so that they make sure that the students who are elected are students who they can be able to maneuver and manipulate. Your Excellency, finally, on the issue of branding, the projects that our members of parliament and all other people has the aspect of when the projects are complete, people tend to brand their names on these projects. Your Excellency, these projects are financed by taxpayers, and it is the request of the young people and the youth that when it comes to branding, we would rather have these projects branded that they have been financed by the Kenyan taxpayer. I will leave it at that, Your Excellency, and thank you very much. But of course, there is the issue of mental health. I appreciate we cannot exhaust all these things in one sitting, but I'm looking forward to more engagements in other platforms. Thank you very much, and I'll leave it at that.